me and Yadu.
Well. What can you say about tonight? You know, I'm searching for words, searching for answers, scratching our heads. This was coming. Um, the good days, they won't run forever. But some severe questions needs to be asked, especially amongst the squad, the established talisman, um, senior players, everybody. Because tonight we could have done so much more, but we played with our handbrakes on. And I've been trying to like answer that in my head and been getting nowhere. So this episode is gonna be a little bit offbeat, people, and I hope we can try to break it down as best as possible. So, on that note, welcome back to another episode of Let's Be Real podcast. Yadu.
Hello, everyone.
Hola, Madridistas. Not a good night, like I alluded to earlier. Some big decisions, especially in team selection. Some unpredictable decisions forced by injuries. Obviously, the international break was never going to bring us good news. We have all been accustomed to it, throughout the years. But before we dive into it, uh, let's welcome the esteemed panel, Senor Jacob, Senorita Doris, usual suspects. Um, how did you guys feel about the game? I'll start with you, Doris. Just sum it up
Well,
briefly.
it was underwhelming, to say the least. I know we all expected a better result tonight, and it sucks that now we're second in the league. After all this good work that the team has done, but I'm more afraid of the three matches that they have in the 6 days, and that's gonna be a big deal. And they didn't need this a blow in their confidence, I guess.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
I totally agree. The confidence being taken a massive hit, especially at this juncture in October. It's bad.
Yeah.
Jacob, your thoughts?
First of all, like that was a really dark and gloomy intro. I'll try to lighten the mood a bit. Yeah, there wasn't a lot to celebrate today, to be
Yeah,
honest.
yeah.
We didn't create that many chances.
Mm.
Our overall play didn't look great. We made a lot of mistakes, especially in the midfield. Um, but Vinicius had a good game, I guess.
Yeah.
Overall, if you look at it,
One
his
of our
crosses were dangerous.
soul shining bright players. Yeah.
Oh yeah, and once Kamavinga also came on, like that was a positive impact. So
Mm,
those would be the two positive things that I would lean on, just to make this podcast a bit lighter.
mm. Well. Keep trying your best, but I'll be bringing you guys back down to earth. You know, um, like I alluded to, a couple of selections were forced due to injuries, and Thibaut getting a knock. He didn't get a knock recently, if I'm not wrong. Like, he has been having this nagging issue with his back for a while, and it looks like he has been playing through injury for a bit. And from what I know, it was kind of a mutual decision to kind of take him off for this game. And to be fair, Lunin didn't have much to do, right? Like he was a passenger for most of the game. That one goal though, how do you defend it? How can you defend it?
Yeah, it's
How
just
yeah, it's just a
well,
bizarre goal,
it is.
absolutely
It's just
bizarre goal.
it's actually kind of a deflection, I guess, and it's there was nothing that Andre could have done.
Mm.
It went over him. It actually lopped him, and
Yeah,
even Thibaut
the trajectory was so on point. It was almost like it was scripted.
it went backwards from the play.
Yeah, yeah. Rudiger did the best he could. He even leaped above him, but the ball kind of bounced off the back of Kika Garcia's head. Kike Garcia, I've been watching football for a fair long time, and this guy has always stepped up in huge moments. A veteran, kind of an Osasuna legend. Already, he is kind of their go-to man. Again, uh, you know, in a match where people were thinking it'll be another straightforward night at the Bernabeu. He put a dent in our plans. And the commentators were basically stating that the pitch was kind of completely laid out new for today's game. And I could clearly see our players slipping, and even the ref slipping a couple of times. And
Never have the Jurgen talk. Never on this podcast. Never
no, no,
blame
no,
the
I'm not going
grass.
to blame the pitch. See. You saw
Never
me
the
and
grass.
Farooq having a brawl last episode, right? Like,
I'm
I hate the
kidding.
man, so I wouldn't
I'm
go
kidding.
by the grass standards set by Klopp and Xavi. But
No, well,
clearly,
the
yeah, of
truth is the team should have done better, and they
course.
know that, and Karim knows that, and
Mm,
it's a really a bizarre situation that he missed another penalty against Herrera.
yeah.
So in
Well,
our last
then
seven penalties, we missed five of them. Four of them have been from Benzema. One was
I
the
told you
Hazard one.
guys. You guys were here. Jacob wasn't here, but Doris was here. Remember, I told you in the preview for Osasuna that this man actually saved 2 pence in a single game against us last season. And, well, he did it again, almost. He even knew that Benzema was going to go down the middle. And like it was easy work. And commentators were even saying that probably Herrera might have gotten into Benzema's head. I mean, Benzema has been in the vein in the sort of vein of form he is in. Like, I don't think anybody can get into his mind. But call me outlandish, right, for stating this. But in my honest, humble opinion, ever since Lewandowski came, I mean, these guys are veterans. Like, these guys score for fun, both of them. They are very well versed in the modern game. At this point in their career, but I think Lewandowski's presence in the league and the way he's scoring game in, game out. Obviously, Benzema hasn't been helped by his nagging injury concerns and whatnot. But I think that is kind of getting to him, and he's kind of feeling the pressure that there is another uh, torch bearer of the league, maybe you can say, in Lewandowski, that is kind of, eating up all the limelight. And Vinicius is our top scorer. That says a lot. That says a lot about our attacking resources. Last season, if you guys kind of go back and remember, it was two men carrying our attack. Up until Rodrigo had like a late burst late into the season, but this can't continue. And people used to call me crazy for wanting Holland. This is Benzema's first game back from injury. This is hyperbole. I get it, but imagine having Holland with Benzema in the same team. You know, either they play together or they rotate. Like we have like 65 games at least per season. Like we need more manpower to kind of navigate games. Like what do you think, Jacob? Is this going to hurt us, especially if Benzema is having these these games that where he clearly shows he lacks the confidence of last season?
I'm not sure if it's a confidence thing or a general lack in form. Like players can get into a rut, and it may not be psychological.
Yeah.
But to your point about him feeling pressure from Lewandowski being in the league, um, so we saw from like the previous game against what it was against Mallorca where he let Hazard to take the penalty, right? So he isn't too worried about Lewandowski,
The goals, yeah,
in
yeah,
my opinion.
yeah.
In my opinion, but we don't know what's going on in his mind, right? He even if he has played, he hasn't had the greatest start to the season.
Mm,
Even in the preseason, he did struggle a bit compared to
mm,
last season's rich vein
mm.
of form. So it is worrying, but if anyone can turn it around, it is Karim Benzema. But it's a positive sign that their team is stepping up. Valverde, Rodrigo, and Vinicius, they're all helping him out. So it's all going to go good from here.
Nice that you mentioned Valverde. Um, the midfield trio, basically what Carlo went with today, in my opinion, backfired, and it backfired big time. Big time to the extent that it could have almost cost us the game if it was for a better opposition. I mean, Osasuna is no opposition to scoff at. They're fifth in the league. They have 4 wins and 3 draws as of now after they drew with us. So they're not a bad team at all. But especially in the first half, up until maybe the 38th minute when that Vinicius Benzema chance was there, when Vinicius kind of crossed with the outside of his boot, and Benzema tried a wonderful volley that just scraped just wide of the post. Up until then, like we had absolutely no control in midfield. Um, I can't actually wrap my head around why that was happening because Chouameni, as per what stats suggest, has the most progressive carries in the league. You know, I think he's top five, top four in Europe. He has been exceptional. I have no idea why tonight he was so poor, out of position, multiple occasions, poor passes, uh, sloppy passes. Like Sabayos, people used to argue with me last year about this guy and basically stating that he should be given more opportunities. And I remember he had a very good game. Was it against Espanyol or was it against? It was against a lower side, like a bottom half side, basically. And they were calling for him to start ahead of Modric or Cruz in big games sometimes to give them rest. I did question them then. I question them now too. In my opinion, Ceballos is a very good player to bring in to kind of rest up people and kind of see out the game. He's not the guy to actually dictate the play or find us a way in a game where we clearly needed some people to step up. What do you think, Doris? Like, is this harsh or is this just reality that we have retreaded over and over again about Danny Ceballos?
I think you're being a bit harsh on him, mostly because I don't think it was his fault today for the lack of creativity. If anything, he's good in the defense, and we have two very good progressive players. As you said, Chouameni has the most progressive players in the league. So I don't think it was his fault for the today's game. Mostly because also Valverde uh, uh, it was
Yeah.
I lost my what I wanted to say. Uh,
Okay.
Valverde came on late,
Yeah.
and
In my
like you
opinion, he
said,
should have started the game. Like maybe Carlo had
Maybe,
one eye on the
maybe,
Shakhtar game.
but it's simple. It's very easy to say that after the game. That's what
Yeah,
I
in
want to
hindsight,
say.
yeah, everything looks good from behind.
I don't think it was a bad thing that Ceballos started. I just think that Valverde should have come on sooner,
Mm,
because I don't think it matters if he came on in the first half or in the second half for Ceballos, because
mm,
you might say that he's a player that like closes out the game, but
yeah.
I think there's way more to Dani Ceballos than that, and it's just that he should have been subbed up sooner, but he did well today. That's what I want to say mostly.
Well, I'll say you call me harsh. I'll say you're too soft on Danny. Is it as fancy hair locks? But I'm just joking. But in my opinion, if he has aspirations to eventually replace Cruz or Modric in the lineup, he should be doing way more, way more. But Chouameni, Jacob, how can you classify his performance tonight?
Well, before we head into Tuameni, obviously Ceballos did progress a play. He did pass it out wide to Rodrigo and stuff. But there was a whole occurring theme in this match where Osasuna created danger pretty much every time they attacked on the left-hand side with Abde. So Carvajal received little to no help from Ceballos or from Rodrigo. And this was my main issue with the midfield as a whole. Like they didn't support our defense, and they didn't close down the opposition fast enough to deny
Mm.
them opportunities. So yeah, Valverde definitely would have helped, and I thought Tuameni would take up the mantle and help out a lot more in defense. But he seemed a little too slow to react. He didn't get to the second balls fast enough. So
Yeah,
a lot
and
of
if
negatives.
anything, I would have played the Kamavinga instead of Chouameni. I think that would have been a better idea, because
Mm.
Chouameni is good in defense, but as soon as Kamavinga came on, you could see that the
No,
team started working more for it, and he had like some really good passes in the game and intercepted some really good balls.
yeah, that's the thing, right? We expect Tuameni to be the guy in the defense helping out, but he just
Yeah,
didn't do that today. I
Mm.
don't know why.
Bad days happen. Bad days happen. It could have been worse. We have all sat through the Espanyol loss last season, and it was far worse than today. Today, at least, we created a fair few chances. Somewhat. It wasn't the most sparkling display of attacking football, but we in my opinion, tried a few things, especially our crosses were on point, especially after they lost David Garcia, who is their best centre back. And after that, we had a very good few chances which we didn't capitalize on. But Chouameni, worst game in the Madrid shirt.
The shirt
This
is heavy again.
Shirt is heavy, shirt is heavy. But we can't forget the fact that he started off on a very high note. He was performing way above what we expected, and he, in my opinion, climatized much quicker than so many other big name players. Who have found it hard to kind of blend in the past. But that's another thing. Um, let's talk about Mendy. Yeah, Fala Mendy. Um, just last week we were kind of lavishing praise on him about how he is a very nifty dribbler and can help us out when we are in a tight situation. Um, and I used to wonder why people would criticize Mendy's lack of attacking threat when I see him getting involved in the attacking play. He more often than not finds a way. Like, he had a few good balls, but especially in the second half when we needed that outlet apart from Winnie on the left hand side, he was clearly found lacking. and I don't know how this is gonna help, especially since we had a very good option in Miguel, who could have been kind of a different dimension of a left back, especially against sides that park deep, right? They had the entire fucking cruise ship, basically in front of goal, and Mendy basically was left alone at times, and I don't think he's that good, especially against lower sides. Like, do you think Jacob it's gonna harm us? Like Nacho can do a job. Like when you put Nacho in there in place of Mendy against a big side in the semi-finals or quarterfinals of the Champions League, like we saw last season, he doesn't look out of place. But it's against these kind of sides that we need that line-breaking run, right? Like in behind the defense. Like, do you think like we could have or should have made Miguel, you know, stay back?
Um, Yeah, like that is the whole Mikel is another thing to look at honestly. But at least for this game, I didn't understand the reasoning behind Ancelotti choosing this particular back line, because we all know Osasuna are a team who like to sit back. They even
Yeah,
go for a fight at the back
yeah.
when they are either
We were
leading
playing
or
five three
help
one,
getting.
man. Come on, fucking terrorist football, but yeah.
Yeah, and it's obviously the best option in this situation. Just looking at our current squad, would be to start Alaba at left back, have Militao and Rudiger play, or even Nacho play if Militao is tired. So that didn't happen. I'm not sure why Ancelotti went for this particular lineup, but yeah. And to your point about having Miguel Gutierrez on the squad, yeah, that would have certainly helped, given us an additional option, because we all know Mendy can be injury prone as well, in addition to not being suitable to these low table sides.
Mm.
And
Yeah.
yeah, we could have used.
One of the viewers, they just said missed a midfield that drops back to cover our defense. Well, in a way, the midfield selection clearly didn't work out. But yeah, like you did alluded to, Jacob, the back line also didn't help. I mean, um, if you're kind of like preparing for Shakhtar, like I don't know why you would drop just Militao. I mean, Carlo could have done stuff a bit different. Probably he, like most of us, underestimated Osasuna. Probably. Mister is a very, very well seasoned man. He has seen a lot of football to know that that wouldn't be the case. But I don't know. Maybe it was the fatigue from the international break that was kind of draining on our players. Um, I just don't like whenever I watch the Nations League, I find it interesting. I find it having an edge, but this is the negative side to it, that our players kind of come back basically half empty. And October is not gonna be easy on us, right? Like we have a game every 3 days, and I don't know how we are gonna navigate this without picking up any more injuries. Um, and our players kind of losing steam. This can't continue. This can't continue. Um, but yeah, that was the team. This team is clearly well equipped to beat Osasuna, right? Like it's not about personnel. Like we can nitpick about personnel and kind of debate about it, but this team that was fielded tonight should be putting like at least 2 or 3 goals past Osasuna. But we struggle. Big time. Rodrigo was kind of good. He had a very good few runs, especially in the first half. Man gives his all. Vinicius electric, absolutely electric. The pace, and especially the intent in his movement is always there. Is always there. Like he never just stops. Which is very encouraging, and you could see everybody looks up to him. Unlike last season where he was kind of the sideshow, this season I'm very confident, especially from how we kind of looked early in the early weeks. Vinicius is going to be the main man for us this season, and the goal. Let's talk about the goal. Like some people were kind of contesting why the referee didn't rule it out. I mean, it wasn't it wasn't a case of Rudiger or Benzema blocking the line of vision of Herrera, or they were kind of trying to like intervene in play. So I don't understand. Like, what is your take, Jacob? Is it an offside, or what? Or did we just get lucky this time?
I'm not sure about the rules. Maybe Doris can help with that. But my take was the reason why those people said it is it's not about just intervening of the play. Um, it's more about Rudiger going for the ball, and that
Yeah.
makes it offside. But maybe the referee's reasoning was, hey, Rudiger didn't really go for the ball.
Yeah.
He just made a half-hearted attempt, so the goal stands.
Doris, do you feel the same?
Correct. I agree with Jacob. And it's funny that the goal came from a cross. It was a cross. I don't think it was
It was
a
a cross. It was a cross.
yeah. But I wanted to say that today's game really reminded me of the 2021 season because it was just cross and hope to God someone
Cross and
gets to
inshallah.
it. Cross and inshallah, right? And I don't like that. I hated the way we played today. Even if we won, I hated
See,
it.
cross and inshallah is
Yeah,
underrated. You heard it here again. I mean, it's
yeah,
not the
but
first time, but it's
that's
underrated.
how lower clubs play, you know. And
I mean, no matter
that's
what, like we don't have a
that's
clear
mostly
identity.
how other clubs play against us. And
No, but what can you do against a team who parks the bus? Like there's like 10
Like
players in the
you
box.
gotta put
So
in deep crosses. You gotta put in deep crosses. You know Doris very well that we don't
I know,
have a
I know, but
very
I feel like our best chances today came from Vinicius, Rodrigo, and Valverde from ground balls and not crosses.
wide
That's what I'm
positions,
saying.
but eventually they'll whip in a ball. That's the only way to block such a deep defense. But I get your sentiment. I get your sentiment. Like even I would want to watch better football than what fucking Burnley plays. But you know how
God, no.
devastating set pieces can be. Like we have won multiple big titles. Just by Sergio Ramos
Chikai,
making a header.
Freeman.
Yeah. So I mean, crosses, it is the last resort. Like I honestly get the sentiment, but um, we don't have a clear style of play like Barcelona does. Like we just kind of go with the flow. That's why we are the most successful. That's why we are the most relevant club. Always. But we just were kind of discussing about the goal and the referee. There were like if you actually check on Twitter, especially there were people basically. I mean it's butthurt Barca fans who were hoping for us to kind of drop points, but they were clearly saying that the referee was kind of siding with us. But boy oh boy, the amount of 50-50s he gave to Osasuna was mad. Like I don't know why this sense of fear is there among Spanish officials that what the public might perceive if I give too many decisions in favor of Real Madrid, or they might think that I'm kind of biased. But whenever we got the ball and made a fair tackle, like boom, it was a foul. But whenever our players got bodied, like the I think Rodrigo got bodied by someone, like he was basically crushed, to the floor. There wasn't even a yellow given to the player, but Ceballos mistimed the tackle once. Boom, he's in the book. So I don't understand this kind of inconsistency. When are the referees gonna fucking get their eyes tested? Come on, man. Laser treatment is so viable, so easily accessible in fucking 2022. I'm pretty sure RFAF can provide at least cover 50% of the costs, right? Like this is going to cost some teams big time, if this continues. Like, what is your opinion on referees, Jacob? Like, I know we have kind of talked about this a lot, but what can we do?
What can we do apart from hope? So
Yeah,
even in
hope and
today's
pray.
even in today's women's game, there were a lot of calls against us that went Athletic Club Bilbao's way. By the way, we won that game 3-0.
Hmm.
But still, like there were a lot of offsides called. Like the referees are just getting scared of making decisions against us. I guess I definitely agree to that fact.
Hmm. Yeah, someone in the comments saying, still unbeaten at least, trying to see minor positives from today. Well, minor positives is the right way to frame it. Um, but
Yeah, I
it
think
is minor.
like
Hmm.
one great positive is like Cruz had an amazing game. He was just
Cruz, yeah,
spraying balls
yeah.
all the game.
Cruz was exceptional. Like, you could see, like, he never got phased. He was never phased by anything that was going on. But you should also factor in the fact that he didn't have any game time during the international break. He was training at the Walter Davis with the rest of the guys who weren't called up. So he was very fresh. Chouameni had played 180 minutes, with France. One of them was a loss, if I recall, with Kamavinga. Both of them started and stuff. So Kamavinga, he was so bright when he came on. Thoughts, Doris? Like, he was
That's
having a
good.
couple of bad games prior to this game for us.
Yeah. Um, I he should have also come on earlier, but as soon as came on, the game changed a bit.
Mm,
But he really was the bright spot in the midfield,
mm,
along with Cruz, of course.
mm.
And he's way more creative than Chouameni. And I think when Chouameni has bad defensive days, I
Yeah.
think Kamavinga is a must, and he should come on faster. They're both young, so it shouldn't matter for their egos or whatever. Like, game's the game, and it's not like one of them is an experienced player or more experienced than the other.
Yeah.
So that's exactly why I think it doesn't matter which one plays. If one has a bad game, the other needs to come on much faster.
Mm. I agree. I completely agree. Like, Kamavinga has always, like, I think it is a bad reputation that he carries at the moment, that he can only work when he's brought on as a sub, which kind of hinders his reputation a bit. I mean, there is clearly talent there, but it should be like it like there's a lot to be polished about his game. Kamavinga, personally, that's what I feel. But uh, yeah, like, this sort of reliance on people coming on from the bench and like asking them to change the game is too much to ask. Like it was evident today. Like, it's not going to work every match day. Um, this I hope is a blip. Um, I really hope is a blip in an otherwise fantastic start to the season. One of the best in our entire history. Like, let me just tell you this: like, if we bet Osasuna, Shakhtar, and Getafe next weekend, it would have been the best start to a Real Madrid season in our entire history. Just put that into perspective. These guys are doing a phenomenal job. I mean, we can be vexed about tonight's performance. Like, don't get me wrong. Like, what I feel right now is my thoughts, my immediate emotion after the game. Like, probably tomorrow I'll be much more level-headed in how I look upon our team. But tonight wasn't good, man. Wasn't good. I hope this doesn't come back to bite us in the end, because the La Liga title race is heating up. We have El Clasico in a couple of weeks. Barcelona is firing. I mean, I saw bits of the game against Mallorca, if I'm not wrong, yesterday, and yeah, man, like all it took was one moment of brilliance, absolute brilliance by Lewandowski to secure all 3 points. Um, they have a few people out, but even then, they are still, kind of being very consistent, and I'm pretty sure it is gonna go down to the wire, unlike last season. But one final point that I would like to discuss um, from this game, another takeaway I had was basically how far we have fallen in terms of capitalizing on set pieces. Doris, like, do you think cross and inshallah is another matter, but you can recall a fair um, bit of times where our necks were kind of saved by a set piece. Like you could see today, like Alaba can't even can't even find a man like while taking a corner. Like this has been a recurring theme this season. Like why do you think we are so far off? Obviously,
Um,
yeah. Go on, go on.
well, for the cross and inshallah, the thing is that they started to do that very early in the second half, which was really surprising because we have some of the most creative players in the league and even in the world, and I think they're better than just crossing the ball. I'm not saying that you shouldn't do it at all, but you're
But I
Real
wasn't I
Madrid.
wasn't referring to crosses, yeah. Like I was referring to set pieces alone. Set pieces in
Oh,
particular. Corners.
um, as good as we are taking them, we are bad at defending them, and that's a fact. Especially with the Alaba. Last season, he got caught a few times in set pieces, but he's not the only one. Uh, uh, what matters is that today it didn't work, and hopefully in the next 3 games in 6 days, they're gonna work on it. I'm sure of it. Especially Benzema. I think he's gonna he's gonna be
Yeah.
really pissed after tonight.
So many chances where like he almost reached the
Yeah.
ball, he's kind of misjudging the height of the ball, he's mistiming the jump, etc., etc. Like, what do you think, Jacob? Like, why can't we score as many goals from set pieces like we used to? I mean, we did score a few. Like, if you remember against Frankfurt, we scored. Rudiger scored from a Kuru set piece the other weekend. We are doing it here and there, but it's not consistent, and I can't seem to rely on it to save us in games like today, right? Like, why do you think that's the case?
Okay, there are okay. The way I see it, there's two reasons why this is occurring. The first part is we are overcomplicating our set piece routines. So
Yeah, 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 yeah.
there's a lot of
You saw
complicated
Rodrigo
stuff going on.
Rodrigo come on and take a set piece and basically pass it out wide. Like he
Insane.
could have
We
just
just
waited
play,
for.
yeah, we're just trying to play these short crosses and short corners, trying to catch the opposition unawares, but
Yeah.
it actually catches our own teammates unawares, and it leads to dangerous,
If
and it
you
leads to dangerous situations for the opposition.
if you don't laugh, you'll cry at this point. Because this is insane. We were a team that was so sharp at set pieces that every time we had a set piece, I was sure somebody's going to at least make the keeper work. Now, it doesn't even create any emotion anymore because it's so blunt. It has become. I think we are trying to emulate the fucking the Premier League, kind of fashionable set piece techniques and whatnot. But I don't know, man. Like
Absolutely.
we gotta nail it. We gotta nail it. Put the ball in a good area, and we have a few very good.
Really good set piece takers, yeah.
Yeah, not just set
Definitely
piece.
not Valverde. If you remember last season where he tried to pass to Casemiro. I mean, his girlfriend posted on Instagram, I think, that he was trying to pass to him because the camera was all cinematic towards him, and when he shot, it just went like behind him somewhere. So definitely not him. And what I've what I've seen
I
is
don't remember it honestly, but
oh,
yeah.
it's a famous it's a famous attempt, but I like that Alaba is taking free kicks. He's a really good free kick taker, and
Mm,
it's so good that we finally have a left-footed player that can
yeah.
take shots from the right side. We didn't have that before,
Mm.
except
Yeah,
yes,
not just go on, Dora. Sorry.
except Bale, but
Yeah, yeah, yeah. The less we talk about him, the better. But
yeah.
um,
Yeah, and the second part is like even if the crosses do go in, let's say it's Rudiger trying to head the ball. Like I've noticed it a couple of times, or at least three times now in the past few games. He just hits his shoulder, or it hits his neck, and just goes out of play. He's just a wild header of the ball, and Militao also. He's in
today
that
today
role.
he had a very good leap.
Yeah,
He
watched
completely
it.
kind of got himself and boshed it. Like it came off his shoulder. Like I don't get it. I don't get it. Like he is supposed to be one of the most elite players in attacking the ball from set pieces. I don't know, man. I don't know.
Same
Um,
as Mariano.
mm,
Yeah, I said that name. Uh,
fucking hell. She's having a Caesar
yeah,
while mentioning Mariano. This is not
he missed a great
chance. Yeah,
attempt. He had a
yeah.
great attempt. Actually,
But I won't pile too much
he
on
had
him.
a
He was
bad
bright when he
attempt
came
at
in.
he had
He
a
was
bad
bright.
attempt.
Mm. But yeah, like
I think it
yeah.
might be the locks on his head that made it
It's a lobster
made
on
it
his
go.
head. It's not
Well, at this
locks.
point, Doris, you're clearly jealous about his hair. Like we can all
No,
understand that, you know. Like
I love
see,
it.
come on, Mariano has one of the best hairstyles in all of Europe. Like we gotta actually give him that, you know, at least. The only reason
Incredible.
he still has a squad spot is because of his, hair. We gotta appreciate it more. But yeah, like before we move on, Carvajal, yeah, this I noted it down the moment I saw it. I mean, it was just 5 minutes left in the game. When he was subbed off, he just broke a 1K dollar mic stand on the way back to the bench. I can't seem to understand why that was the reason. Jacob,
Unnecessary.
huh?
That was so unnecessary. And I would
Yeah,
understand if he was mad that Ancelotti brought on a defender, but he brought on an attacker for a reason. I don't
yeah.
understand why he would be mad, and especially like showing his anger like that. Come on,
Mm.
come on, Danny.
Was it anger at Carlo or would it be anger at himself? Because I don't think Carvajal had a terrible game by any stretch. What do you think, Jacob? Would
Either way.
be just frustration?
Yeah, I feel like it's just his passion for the game and for the team. The fact that he can't help his team anymore. I
Mm,
just felt like his frustration won out in that instance.
mm. Well,
Uncalled for
uh,
still.
sorry?
Uncalled for
Uncalled for. Yeah. Yeah.
destroying property. It's
Well, Asensio did something worse, I mean, well, probably all this.
destroyed our hearts.
Yeah, we could probably say that, but I don't know.
Asensio.
The thing is,
Especially with the
go.
comment about Barcelona. That's what I meant.
Oh yeah, honestly, that's disgraceful,
Yeah,
disgraceful. But yeah, like I was talking to my Spanish friend. She was telling me, like the media is basically twisting it, but in my honest opinion, like if you get asked a question, would you play for Barcelona? If you have something in heart for Real Madrid, man, you shut it down immediately. You'll say that is not the right question to ask me. That's it. Boom. The interviewer is gonna just shut up. So yeah, it's
Inexcusable, inexcusable. I
yeah, yeah,
mean,
yeah.
you're not like nobody in the club. You're Marco Asensio. You've been here for a while, dude, and I don't.
So yeah,
It's not cool. It's really not cool from him. I
scoring.
used to root for him
Me
until
too.
he said that.
Me too. Me too. Me too. I was one of his biggest fans, Asensio, when he actually broke out into the scene. But it is what it is. It is what it is. We tend to have a few bad apples always within our squad. Up until now, it was Bale who was hogging all the limelight. Marco has taken the mantle, but it is for another day. Well, we gotta actually recuperate every ounce of energy we can and kind of shift our focus towards the Champions League. We are unbeaten there. 2 games, 2 wins. We look good. But we face a team in Shakhtar that ain't a slouch. Um, their performances this season reads for a very, very strong-willed team driven by very direct sequences of play, using their pace to hurt opponents. I saw bits of their game against Leipzig, and boy oh boy, they were a treat to watch. Although they were given a gift by the Leipzig captain Gulaci, but even then, Shakhtar is a force to be reckoned with. They just won, I guess, 6-1 yesterday in the Ukrainian league. They are top of the league, I think, 1 point ahead of Dnipro, but they're going to bring a much sterner test than Celtic and uh, Leipzig. So, like, I hope we can kind of navigate it better. But Jacob, like, how do you think we'll line up? Especially like you could see Valverde starting up. Lunin, of course, might be still between the sticks. Do you think Benzema is better off with the rest, or do you think he needs to start the next game as well?
As long as Benzema can walk, I feel like his Ancelotti is going to start him. We have there is no real replacement for him in the team, and the Shakhtar game can be crucial. Like we need to win this game in order to give ourselves maybe a bit of rest in the future. So yeah, I don't feel like there's going to be a lot of wholesale changes. Maybe Valverde coming in.
Mm,
That's it.
that's it. So Ceballos is the one that drops out.
Yeah.
We are at home as well. Um, I hope it is as straightforward as it is on paper. Uh, there's a few people we need to keep an eye on, especially on the Shakhtar side. If I can recall, Stepanenko has been in the game and has been one of the better players from Ukraine for the last 5-6 years. He has been exceptional. Konoplia has been good. Rest of them, I have no idea. Probably, yeah, I've heard of Mudrik. He's also pretty good. Um, yeah, man, like they have enough attacking talent to actually hurt us if we are not on our game. Obviously, like we don't know much about much in depth about Shakhtar, but from whatever I've seen, especially last season and the seasons before, if you remember, like they give us a game. Remember the game in which Marcelo started? I think it was at the Di Stefano under Zidane
Yep.
when Shakhtar bet us, right? Like 3-2, or was it like some? I think it was 3-2. Um, yeah, like they can give us a real run for our money if we are not focused enough. I just hope Carlo, kind of tries his best to not let this affect the players. One last question before we kind of wrap this up. I'm going to ask you, Doris, like, do you think tonight's draw is going to linger in the minds of our players for more than what is expected? Like, do you think it'll affect them?
Uh, I think what matters is that Benzema gets back into it. I think that's the most important factor, and the team will play well when he plays well. We can always see that the team plays well when he's playing well. But today just wasn't his game, and I think uh, the biggest thing is how long will this be in his head, especially because of the penalty and him kind of costing the team the game. I think the rest of the team will do all right.
Fair point. Well, I was just looking at Carlo's post-match quotes. So the interviewer, he asked him basically, "What about Hazard?" Carlo basically said, "Yeah, we needed Mariano's abilities tonight, not Hazard." So with that, I think Hazard's career is over. If someone basically comes out and says we needed Mariano's abilities over Eden Hazard's, boy oh boy, it's peak. It's peak. Um, well, on that note, I guess another international break brings us yet
Speaking
another.
about the international break, like we
Yeah.
have a couple of comments. So Knack asks us like, who's gonna win the World Cup?
Oh, in my opinion, it will be either, as much as I hate them, either France or Brazil, which I hope for, who I'll be rooting for. You know,
Brazil, yeah.
Rodrigo, Vinicius, Militao, Casemiro.
'Cause-
I think they all can get the job done. Croatia, Doris's team, is not to be
Mm.
slept on. They can go
Yeah,
far.
but I don't think there's a chance we go that far. I mean,
Mm.
it's always possible that we do, something in the cup, but semi final would be more than enough for Croatia. Even
Mm.
being considered there would be nice. What happened
yeah,
in
guys. Yeah.
2018 was a bizarre.
Was a one-off. I don't think
Yeah,
Croatia can repeat it
I
again.
don't think it's gonna be a repeat of that. But I hope we go.
If you get
go.
England though, bro, you're safe. Trust me,
Oh,
you're safe.
I want to beat their ass so so bad.
You will.
Also,
You will.
France. This was the first time we beat France in the Nations League. It was, but the first time we beat France in I don't know how long. So
Mm.
that felt really nice. I want to. I want us to play England again because
Right.
they're all saying that we didn't deserve to win that game, which is really funny.
Mm.
They should have been in the final.
Well, you know, if you want to compete against France, Croatia probably should reconsider their immigration policies. Like probably you can take up what France is doing. How they get all the players from um,
Africa.
Algeria and stuff. So like Africa, you name it, they'll always have the edge. France, as much as we hate to admit it, it's out of our domain, unfortunately. But speaking of Croatia, Modric is said to be back in training tomorrow, which is a very, very good sign. I'm not sure he'll be starting on Wednesday, but if he's back in training, hopefully uh, the latter, like right before full time, probably like 10 minutes, 15 minutes would do great. And we kind of need him back in match rhythm, especially with Clasico coming up shortly. And Carlo
Today's
also mentioned,
game would
yeah,
would have looked a lot different he was in there.
Yeah,
You
for sure.
really see that they missed his presence in the game
Mm,
tonight.
mm. Modric has the ability to just unlock defenses. Like we have seen it time and time again.
Yeah,
Him being on the pitch would have been, a real difference maker. But um, Carlo also touched upon Thibaut's injury, mentioning that it wasn't serious. They are still kind of waiting on the results to kind of come off. But he says it is yet to be decided whether he would start Wednesday, which is very encouraging. He's even mentioning about Wednesday and Thibaut in the same sentence. I thought he would be out for much more, but uh, really promising signs so far, at least from his press conference. But I guess that's about it, people. We'll be back for the post game of Shakhtar on Wednesday, hopefully. Any final thoughts, Jacob, Doris?
not
Just looking
really.
forward to.
I love
It's
Madrid.
gonna be an ex. It's yeah, feel your pain, guys. But it's gonna be a good game on with Shakhtar. I feel it. I feel like the team is gonna bounce back.
Hmm. We always bounce back, like if any team can bounce back, it is us. Like we are the team that is most equipped to deal with adversity, not via resources, but just by sheer will, and mentality. And yeah, hopefully we get the job done on Wednesday. And like Jacob said earlier, give us some breathing room in the group in the Champions League. But yeah, shout out to our collaborators, Real Madrid Committee. Check them out. Link is in the description below. They run a brilliant fan page. Check out Memento Madridismo. They are our official partners on Reinas Blancas podcast. Just a side note, our Femenino won comfortably 3-0 today against Bilbao. Was a very emphatic performance. Via looks incredible. Like she's just something else. I just hope today being a double match day and Femenino kind of set the tone and we would be doing the same. But unfortunately, Osasuna had another plans. But it is what it is, I guess. People.
Apparently, the fans only get a certain amount of happiness a day.
Yeah, yeah, that is true. That is true. It is drip fed. It is a corporate design, Jacob. I hope you're well aware by now. It is kind of a script designed to keep us on our edge. But yeah, until next time, people. Adios. Hala Madrid.
Adios.
Hala Madrid.
Hala Madrid.